think it was just after it was had to have been Thanksgiving. I picked up a cold. It wasn't bad at all. Sniffles or whatever. Long story short, it was like 40 degrees and one of the kids had sports at night and we were out until like 9:30 on the field 2 nights in a row. And the next morning it was shot and a cough came with it. I don't think it's sickness. I think it's just like laryngitis.
Dang, man.
But now I can say things like, in a world where 479 episodes of We Were Gamers has occurred, the price for the Lego Enterprise on eBay today is $525.
Goodness, is that real?
We forgot to answer that question at the end of 478. So I thought I would lead with that and then hand over the episode and say, hi, I'm here, but now it's time for JJ to lead.
Hello. Michael is back from his assignment. How you doing, Michael?
I am certainly back.
Well, it's great to have you, Andy. Thank you for trooping along.
I hope that it doesn't sound too bad, and that the delay is not too bad. I will try not to talk too much because I know it's annoying to listen to sick people. But I wanted to be here and hang, especially because we have football to talk about
together.
Yeah, we definitely do have football to talk about, which we will get to later in the episode. I wanted to lead off with something I was talking about at the previous episode, actually. I had not completed Dispatch when we recorded last. And I have now completed Dispatch. You guys, and I said this before, Dispatch is pretty great. You people should play Dispatch. I think that's my final stance on it.
All right, so it held up through the last chapter.
Yeah. And from what I can tell, just by looking at achievements and stuff, there are quite a few different paths stuff can go down. So I'm not
I think given the propensity to wait for a sale, if this goes down 10% during the holiday sale, I'll probably just snag it. Otherwise, I'm just going to play Arc Raiders the rest of the year.
It is a great, because it's like a visual novel effectively, it's like very easy to like pause and, hop in and out. And, the episodes are really only an hour. It's really like watch an episode of TV, but you play a Dispatch game in the middle. So
it's kind of a cool way to do it.
Yeah, really good. I really like all the characters. I would kill people for my boy Golem, is what I'm saying. Don't make me, but I would. So yeah, I really enjoyed Dispatch. High recommendation from me. Yeah, like, any kind of a sale whatsoever should be enough for anyone to jump on that thing. And I'm excited for what they do next, if they do a season 2 or something else in this vein. Very curious.
Nice.
Michael, last week while you were off, you texted us a question that I think we should discuss on this podcast.
Okay. So a little bit of setup here. I was prompted with an alert from Reddit. The algorithms have me pegged, and so they know the subreddits that I don't follow that will catch my attention anyway. So they pinged me with a thread from the JRPG subreddit. And the question caught my eye. It was someone asking, what is the worst JRPG that you have forced yourself to play all the way through to the end?
Oh, interesting caveats.
Yes, because there are lots of bad RPGs out there, and we've all played games, RPGs and otherwise, that we have just said, this isn't worth my time. But I thought it was an interesting way of bracketing it. What's the worst one you've played that you nonetheless made yourself finish?
Ooh.
So I can start because I've had some time to think about it. And mine has definitely got to be Xenosaga.
The first one?
The first one.
Not 2 or 3, because obviously you didn't like the first one. Why did you play the other one?
Yeah, the first one left too bad of a taste in my mouth. And it was the fact it's a great story. It's an incredibly well-designed game. I enjoyed the combat. but it gets you to a point where if you haven't very carefully tailored your characters and loaded them out properly and come up with all the right weapons loadouts, there's no good way to grind either experience or money, and so you can just sort of get stuck in a boss fight that you can't win, and you can't really retool your team to have a better shot at winning.
So I
So it's
have
just
played that game, and it was now we're talking a long time ago, right? Because that was a
this is a
PS2.
it's a PS2 game, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. I was not a huge fan, but I did like it enough to play Xenosaga 2 and 3. So I guess I liked it, an okay amount anyway. But dude, yeah, that one wasn't great. What would I pick for this? It's got to be like, there were some pretty bad like PS1 era RPGs that I played.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Maybe
just thinking that too.
like Legend of Legaia or Beyond the Beyond or something like that. Those were pretty bad. But I don't know if I finished those. Having to finish it makes
I
it
have.
tough.
Right? Yeah, it's definitely an interesting question because there are plenty that I've played that I've just bailed on.
I think I have a real answer and a joke answer, and
Okay.
the the joke answer is Pokemon. LOL.
That could be my real answer.
The real answer is exactly what you're talking about, JJ. The PS1 had tons of trash JRPGs on them, and I can think of a lot of ones that I played that I didn't get to the end, but one for some reason that I just kept playing because of maybe being a kid. I don't know. I was like 14. I didn't have a ton to do. Was Threads of Fate. It's not exactly a JRPG. It's more like an action RPG, I guess.
Yeah, but I
But
think it
it's
was
supposed
JRPG-ish, right? Like there was leveling and stuff.
100%. I mean, it's like they walked the line of all those other notable. I mean, you would call Final Fantasy currently still a JRPG, but they're definitely action RPGs, right? So, um, yeah, it was okay. I don't really remember a whole bunch about it other than it being like mediocre-ish. The story being kind of mediocre-ish, but it's kind of like a weird Xenogears off-brand situation.
Yeah, I think that totally counts.
Yeah.
I think my two answers are, well, I like I don't think I ever actually finished a Pokemon, so I can't say that. But I don't really like Pokemon, so I think that would be a fair answer for me had I actually completed one.
All right. Yep.
But I think the real answer is I was looking over at my wall here of where I keep a bunch of my old games. Ark the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits.
Ooh,
That's definitely it.
I recognize the title, but I don't know anything about the series.
Yeah. It's a PS2 game. Um, you know, it's like, Wikipedia describes it as a tactical role playing game. It's just really mid, dude. I barely remember the story. Like, it was just not good. I don't know. I don't know why why I have it. I think I was bored at some point. Like,
Well,
but
this or watch paint dry.
yeah, dude, that was definitely it though. There was definitely a time. I also saw my copy of Xenosaga up there, so didn't sell it. Maybe I
Another
should though. I bet it's worth a
interesting
lot.
variant Oh yeah, I think it is. Another interesting variant on this question for you, Michael, is what game did you play that people think is good that you don't, or something like that? Because like my first answer to this was almost something similar to like a Monster Rancher. Like I know people like Monster Rancher, but I don't think it's actually that fun. But I played them all the way through, the first two, I think.
Is Monster Rancher the one where you have to put in like other CDs in order to like get monsters out of them?
Yeah. That and
Okay.
Jade Cocoon both did that, I think.
Yeah. I remember those games being bad. I don't know if I played either of them other than like, rentals, because that was still a thing back then. Yeah. Because like, I think, like my answer for that would obviously be Pokemon, right? Very intriguing question though, Michael. I think the algorithm correctly pegged you on that one.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got my number these days.
Well, from one sort of RPG to another, you guys, I actually this was a week or two ago, but I attended a thing in real life that I think is worth discussing on this podcast. I had never heard of this, but my wife is in a like D&D group that is like just starting out, I would say.
Okay.
So they're having a good time, and someone in that group saw this performance, I guess it is. The name of it is the 20-Sided Tavern, and it's a live-action D&D game? Question mark? I don't know how. I mean, they do the game actions like you might expect of D&D, but I don't know how faithful they are to the full-on rules of D&D.
Okay.
Sometimes that's the best D&D.
Yeah, look, they're but it's a live stage performance. So like, they have there's 3 party members, there's a dungeon master, there's a like a rules guy who is like separate from the dungeon master. But the thing that I thought was really cool is that they had a QR code and an app that you would scan or a web page that you could go to on their local Wi-Fi. And the entire audience is like part of the game via this like web page and app that they have running. So like as stuff happens in the game, they let the audience pick stuff. And then based on what gets picked, it changes the kind of game that they have.
Okay, so they've almost got like
Oh.
Mad Lib DMing going on.
Totally. Before the game, they're asking like a bunch of random questions where you can type in answers, and they're using those words to help generate stuff. And during the game, you'll get a lot of choices where, at the beginning you'll pick a color like red, blue, and green, and based on what you pick at the start, which choices you get to make. Like some choices are only for people who picked red, some choices are only for people who picked blue.
Aha.
But then, they'll have audience participation stuff where it's like, we need, to see if our hero succeeds or fails, we need people to click this button 400,000 times or whatever, right?
Click for initiative.
Kind of, yeah. And there are times where the players roll dice, because you roll dice in D&D,
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's very much a lot of like, should my character do A or should they do B? And, they'll come up with 2 different ideas and you vote on whichever one you think seems better or funnier or whatever. And then the people on the stage will do it. And it's, silly. Very, very fun in that way. And so then you kind of get an improv show from that direction. And then whether they succeed or fail, of course, the game goes on, right? All the cool things about D&D these days is like, you don't actually have to win to have fun. Like failing is fun too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a really interesting time. I'd never seen a stage production that so closely incorporated both audience participation and like apps and phones and stuff. So you had to have your phone out the entire performance because otherwise you wouldn't be able to interact with the stuff, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
So it was really interesting. Like I said, I've never been into these like live action role play stuff. I know it's like huge in both video and podcasting stuff these days. It's never really been something I've been interested in before, but this was really fun. And, it was only like a couple hours, right? Like the length of a stage play.
Sure.
They had an intermission in the middle, right? Where you could go get drinks or whatever and come back. It was just a really fun time. I don't know if it was sold out. Probably was not, but like they filled up a pretty good amount of the theater. Like it was, and this was like a big full on, it's not like a local community theater or whatever. This was a downtown, like large theater space where they put out full on Broadway shows,
Okay.
Nice.
So, very cool. And, they had merch and all that stuff, and it was D&D branded, so they had their own, all that stuff, right? They could use the logos and all that.
The official blessings.
Yeah, and they had the logos and all that. And, it's interesting because the Dungeon Master is one of the performers. He's trying to do cool stuff with the story and telling, the narration and all that. But then, like, the rules guy has to, like, step in and be the bad guy to be like, okay, no, you can't just, like, do this, It was very fun, very fun. 20-Sided Tavern was the name of it if folks want to check it out. Really recommend it, as a show. It's like, I don't know what tickets are, however much you pay to go to a play these days. Yeah, it was a great time. Like totally family friendly. You could take your kids, they're not like doing anything outrageous or lewd or anything like that. It was just very fun and silly and a good old time.
Is this like a traveling show? Like, do they do
Absolutely
the same thing kind of every night that they've practiced, or is it an ongoing campaign?
So it is a traveling show. I don't know how repetitive it is. There's certainly parts of it that will just be different based on the different audience, right? Because, different things will get chosen, different selections will be made. And so then the story that gets told will be different. Probably, I would assume, based on like, there is some amount of continuity between the shows, and not like the characters are higher level or whatever, but they said at the beginning of the show, like, hey, the last audience did really bad. So sorry, like to help you, we're going to give you some credit in ways that you might not understand, but like, things will tend to go your way more than the last audiences. And they said, but consequently, if you guys do really good, the next audience is in for a really bad time. So, and then that's when they bring into the whole thing. It's like, it doesn't actually matter if you win or lose and the whole thing. So, it was very fun, like I said. And, there's enough variety based on what I saw from what they're doing. Like at the start to like pick which character they are. They've already split you between red, green, and blue. And then each of the performers picks like 3 things. And you can, based on those 3 things, decides what character they're going to play. Well, like, they probably have a stable of like 4 or 5 each every time, right? But then based on the way they phrase them in the app or how it goes out to you, one will sound funnier or whatever, and then obviously get picked over another one, right?
Right.
So, you can like push the audience in a direction with that kind of stuff if you want. If the actor is like, I'm bored of being the wizard every time, I want to do something else or whatever, right? And all the characters are silly, right? So it's not like, the red character in ours was a dwarf, like I forget what the description he gave him, but he basically played him like a rich finance bro. And so he was just like always talking about like, I can get you in on these scams and like, we could totally make all this money, bro. Like, yeah, it'll be so great or whatever. And so he was always very like laid back, chill. But then he was supposed to be the guy with the big hammer dwarf stuff and then didn't really ever do any of that. So, they definitely.
Which end of Magic Tavern are we on here? On the D&D, we're actually playing a campaign end, or on the wild and crazy hijinks Magic?
I definitely would say, Hello for the Magic Tavern is just like, we're telling we're doing a story improv thing, right? And like
Right.
there's not really a tale other than the fact that we sort of have some things that go back and forth in it. This is one much more like sometimes they give you a DC 14 and you got to roll some dice, and they have, like ways that they, when the players actually have to roll dice, they have projectors that you can see on the screen so that they can show you when the players roll and everyone can cheer or cry as they fail the dice. So like there's definitely a real D&D game-ish kind of thing going on here. But then also they hand wave a bunch of stuff and they're like, let's go out through the town. Do you want to go left or right? And it's like, okay, that's not really how you would, run that in a D&D session maybe, right? Um, but I would say it's definitely more closer to a real D&D thing than like stuff like Magic Tavern, Andrew. So,
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was great. I had a really fun time. Highest possible recommend. And like I said, it's traveling. So, and
it's running in LA right now.
There you go. And I assume it will be, keep going around throughout the country. So if folks find it in your local area, totally worth throwing some money at it and going and having a good time. And we went to like an afternoon showing, so it was like cool that you could just like come back later and, still have the rest of your day.
It's always a good feeling.
Yeah. Couple other quick hits before we dive into some longer stuff. Michael, you told me that there's a big anniversary coming up.
There is a big anniversary going on right now, in fact. It is the 1-year anniversary of COTC being taken over by NetEase. So they have in typical fashion, they have a big anniversary celebration running right now. And they surprised everybody, actually. Go ahead.
Is this a podcast where we celebrate NetEase?
I don't know if we'll celebrate NetEase, but they managed to surprise the entire player base in what I think is a popular way. So I'll give them 3 internet points. How about that?
These are whose line is it anyway rules where everything is made up
and the points
and
don't matter.
The points don't matter. Yeah. Okay.
But no. So they NetEase runs, in addition to the global server, they run a couple servers in a couple of different regions. One of which is the Chinese exclusive server. And like many games that have a Chinese exclusive variant, they introduce things on that server that are unique to that server to try and lure in a different kind of player base. And one of the things that they rolled out there a while ago was a different version of the game board. If you guys remember the game boards that they had started to roll out.
Yeah, those got pretty stale pretty quickly.
Yeah, they sure did.
They sure did. Yep. But the version that they rolled out for the Chinese server, and then surprise dropped on all the rest of us for the 1-year anniversary, is actually more of a roguelite board. So you pick one of 3 difficulties, and then you get to pick 2 starting characters. And the starting characters are mostly pulled from the available pool of non-collaboration 5 stars. So all of the Sacred Blaze characters, all of the Memory Travelers, all of the Gen Pool 5 stars, they're all in the pool. And you randomly get to start with, you randomly get to pick 2 from 2 random classes. So you'll hit recruit 1 and it'll show you 4 apothecaries and you get to pick 1. And you hit recruit 2 and it'll show you 4 warriors and you get to pick 1 of those 4 to start with. All of the characters you recruit are at level 100. They're all at A4. They all come with their A4 accessory. So if you aren't whaling and haven't gotten to play with a lot of those, you get to tool around with some of those effects. And then it throws you into the board. And so the board lets you, as you play through it, it's got 3 levels. There are event spaces, there are regular battles and boss battles, all of which will get you coins, which you can use in a couple of different ways. The boss battles and some of the other job tiles that are on the new board um, will let you recruit more allies in that same sort of random job, or in the case of the job tile, whatever job is shown on the tile, but 4 characters, and you get to pick one of them. And so you can build out your teams. Every boss square you land on, it shows you what the weaknesses are and gives you the chance to reset your team to try and have the best chance to win against those weaknesses. And so you're trying to make it to the end of all 3 boards with a set of dice, uh, similar to the old boards, with the wrinkle that now when you boost your dice, instead of just rolling more dice, it gives you the option to roll 1, 2, or 3 dice and pick any square within the range of the dice that you roll to just land on. So if you roll 2 dice and you get 12, you can pick any square that is within 12 spaces of you and just say, I want to land on that one.
Oh wow, that's like really different.
Yes. So
That's a big change.
it's
Instead
a
of having to
big
work
change.
your way around the board and try
It's a
and land on.
great change. Yep.
I mean, it would change those earlier boards by quite a bit. I assume it only works on this board and not.
Yes, it is only this board.
It's so interesting that they just like remove team composition too. It's like you kind of don't get any, you got to sort of like hope you can build the best you get out of the dudes you pick up or whatever, right?
Yeah, they've removed the need, so they rebalanced it so that the only things you need to do when you pick up a character are give them an accessory or shuffle around their accessories. You don't need to give them weapons or armor, so you don't have to waste any time with that. The enemy's strength and hit points are rebalanced so that no one needs weapons or armor.
That like cuts 90% of the fiddling out of the game.
It really does. Yep.
That's cool. And then
It
like
is.
what are the materials or whatever you get out of this used for upgrades
So
within
there's
just that or something else?
No, so there's a big out of game exchange. So it has all of the current currencies. Traveler seals. There was a veteran seal, so you can exchange for characters. A lot of the harder to get, or slower to build, I should say, upgrade materials for some of the newest systems in the game. Um, so a few things that you would definitely want out of it, and then some other things that would just make some of the grind less.
Yeah, cool. So
But
like it's definitely a way that you can spend a bunch of time grinding those materials for stuff you might actually want, right?
right, but because of the randomness of the team building, it keeps runs from feeling like you're just in the same rut over and over again.
Yeah, and like you say, it lets you play around with characters you probably don't have or certainly aren't going to have paid for all the fancy upgrades too.
Exactly, which is a lot of fun.
Oh, I thought it
To be
was
able
like a
to.
general list of characters. I didn't realize it was like actual characters. I thought it was like
No,
a
it's
random class.
No, so you'll see most of the characters that are in the playable the the playable character pool, including some of the ones that were just released on the last pre-anniversary set of banners.
But it's like everyone from COTC effectively, right?
Yeah,
Like,
all the 5 stars that were not in the collaborations. So no Nier, no Bravely Default, but other than that, it's everyone in the pool.
crazy. So imagine your choices are between like characters released at the start of the game and like, I don't know who's the most recent overpowered people.
Pardis.
Sure, Pardis. And you're just like,
Yeah, who can
well,
basically just mop up the board and say, well, I know who I'm hoping shows up.
exactly. But, I guess that gives you more reasons to try and, play the game over and over so you get better teams, right?
Yep. Yeah, you can. There's one character who you really hope to pull, because they start off the battle by giving your entire team SP stock. So you don't have to. You can basically just spam up your strongest abilities to wipe out a battle, and then the stock resets going into the next one.
Yeah, that seems pretty helpful.
Yeah.
So this was a well-received anniversary update then?
I think so. It was totally out of left field. No one ever expected it to be anything other than an exclusive mode to the China server. And they, surprise dropped it on everybody. So it'll be around for 3 weeks, I think, is what it's 3 or 4 weeks. But they've rerun the mode several times on the China server. So I think the expectation is that they'll let it run its course and then it'll get revived sometime down the road.
Very cool. Speaking of other things that came out randomly, Andy, they, for no reason that I can understand, dropped previews for a set in the middle of next year in Magic. Why?
Yeah. So JJ's talking about, Michael. Currently, the Avatar set has just released.
That's right.
The
I had
next
seen
set
that.
is
And
the
honestly,
next
like,
set is an in-universe.
yeah,
Go
the
ahead.
Avatar set seems pretty good. Like, people seem to like it. Like, the cards are good. Like,
Yeah, people like it, and it hasn't broken the game significantly. I mean, there's definitely some change to the meta, but it might work itself out. There's another set coming, in like a month. When is Lorwyn eclipsed?
yeah, I think it comes in January.
January 23rd is the next in-universe set for Magic the Gathering, which is currently going through its supposed preview and story stage to get you hyped for the set.
Yeah, the story stuff is starting to come out for sure. I just saw some articles.
And I think to the day of putting out the story stuff, they have now dropped previews for Magic's next Marvel set. A long video of spoilers for the Magic Marvel set.
Okay.
Half a year in advance.
Wow.
Last time you gave me a little bit of hard time, JJ, when I said, why are they previewing Avatar cards before Edge of Eternity is even out? But at least they
It was only like one set
previewed the
away,
Edge of
right?
Eternity card. It was one set away, and they then went on to preview the Edge of Eternity's cards.
Yeah.
They have not posted any previews of Lorwyn cards. They have not any time to do it at this point. No hype, no nothing. Didn't even post about the new story coming out. I found out because I'm subscribed to the podcast.
So there have been a non-zero number of Lorwyn cards previewed, but you're right, they haven't started their like large preview cycle, which if you're saying that comes out at the end of January, I'm guessing they start like January 1st or something because there really is not a lot of time.
Yeah. But Marvel Superheroes preview prologue is already out.
Yeah, it
For a
sucks.
June set. What are they doing? 38 cards they just dumped for what reason?
Gotta
I
get hyped now, Andy.
couldn't possibly tell you.
I don't know. I was thinking that people were too down on WotC and all the universes beyond and only focusing on outside IP. I thought they were making too big a deal out of it, but this one's pretty sad.
And I think the feeling around the Spider-Man set is like so bad in Magic right now because especially as an arena player, like I don't see any Spider-Man stuff, right? I get all the Omen Path set or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't think more than like a few of those Omen Path cards made any dent whatsoever in the entire standard set. And Avatar came out, and then like immediately 4 new decks sprung up, right? Like if this Marvel set is on the power level of the Spider-Man set, like I don't think anyone needs to pay any attention at all. It was like a joke. And that's just from like the gameplay perspective, you know, to say nothing if the card designs are cool or fun or whatever. Yeah, I have no idea what they're doing,
and
Andy.
of the
It's
preview
bad.
cards that I don't know. And of the preview cards that came out, the very first one on the list is broken. It's just busted.
Which one?
Captain America Super Soldier.
Okay. He has some kind of shield thing, I assume. That's his thing.
Two white mana, one colorless, legendary. First strike, enters with a shield counter. As long as he has a shield counter, you and all other heroes you have are hexproof.
It's pretty good.
I mean, considering everything in the whole set is going to be either a hero or a villain.
Probably, yeah.
At least in limited, that card's going to be pretty amazing.
Well, is it rare or mythic? If it's mythic, it won't.
It's mythic.
It won't destroy the format. But if it's rare, that'd be really bad.
Yeah.
That is a really annoying ability, though. Like, yeah, how do you remove the shield counter then, right? Like, because you can't target it anymore. That's frustrating.
Right. You can't. Yeah. You can't.
You have to
target
run a
it to
creature
remove.
into
You have
it,
to
right?
remove. You have to smash it somehow, or kill all creatures somehow.
Yeah, like
I don't
hopefully
know.
they like the answer is like a destroy all creatures spell, right? That'll get everything.
Right. Yeah. Which some of those will be phased out by that set arriving. And oh, by the way, it has first strike, so you have to run what, a 4 health card into it.
Yeah, that's a real bummer, man. But you know, I hesitate to call it broken because you know they print a sweeper every set, so we'll have had 4 more sets by then. So we'll get 1 or 2 more, hopefully 1 or 2 more good ones. And our mana will be
There's
like
a saga
really good by then too, because we're getting the other shock lands in Lorwyn. So like everyone will be running dual and triple color decks at this point.
I mean, that's why there should be so much hype over Lorwyn and what it brings to the game. And instead, we're looking at Doctor Doom cards that you can't even read because they're supposed to look like a comic book cover. I get the idea, but my God, I can't read this.
Dude, this has been a problem with Magic for forever. Like not forever, but for recently in terms of their like secret lair stuff has all started looking like this. So they've gone really wild on the art. And it's like, I support you, but bro, I can't read what these cards do. Like this is not an acceptable way to have these cards look when I can't read the text.
Yeah, legible is the first part of the game, right?
Like there are some super egregious secret layers where it's like, I don't know how to describe the style, but like acid trip death metal band. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
How death metal band art.
Isn't it Megadeth?
Maybe. Like, you know, a lot of bands that do metal music have like their name written in this like stitchy font that's like completely unreadable if you don't already know what it says. Right?
Yeah.
And like there are some Magic cards like that. I'm like, I don't know how anyone can read this. It's like insane. And this, I'm looking at the picture of this Doctor Doom.
Iron Maiden cards, you can't even read them. Yeah.
This Doctor Doom is like a cool looking comic book cover, but I have no idea what the character does.
Well, yeah. What are you going to do with it? I don't know. You know, like Jaws is now a card and Dwight from The Office is now a card. And people got all upset about that sort of stuff. But most of them are reskins. Like, they're just reskins. And who cares? Like if somebody puts down Dwight across from you at the table, who cares? But this is a physical change to the company focusing so heavily ahead of time. Like, celebrate your game and the other stuff, but just abandoning the normal preview cycle to showcase 40 cards. for 6 months from now, people are already hyped for Marvel or they're not. You're going to make them more upset by previewing them now.
Well, and like I said, there's like 3 sets in between this and that one. It's like, where are those?
Yeah, I mean, they previewed Ninja Turtles already, which comes out right after Lorwyn.
Yep.
Yeah. Still, again, it was like, okay, well, it made sense because it happened at a con. So we gave them a pass, just like Avatar. But apparently that's just the new system. Crazy.
Yeah, I got nothing. My only hope is that well, number one, for sure we will not be getting these Marvel cards in Arena. So have fun learning about not Doctor Doom, but not Captain America, Super Soldier, but
Well, hey, dude. I mean,
Patriot Revolutionary.
It'll just be
Swell
called Super
fighter.
Soldier.
If we apparently don't get really great cards in the set, you're not going to have to learn them because, I mean, I think I have 5 Omen Path cards. I didn't even hardly play during the period that Omen Path was on.
Yeah, I think now the only cards from Omen Path that I've seen are Multiversal Passage because it's a shock land for the decks that don't have them yet. And what's the blue-green one that duplicates creatures? And that's only played now because of Badger Mole. So yeah, like that's that's it. And I couldn't tell you what the Spider-Man versions of either of those are. Well, from not so great news to hopefully slightly better news. Gentlemen, it's football season still, and I believe the fantasy playoffs are starting in my league. I don't know about your guys's.
Same here.
Are we in the playoffs?
So yeah, in my 2 leagues, one of them I held on for to finish the regular season in 4th place, so comfortably in the playoffs because I'm in a 12-team league that knows how to set up a 16 playoff. And then in the other league, I snuck in 6th, so just made it in.
I heard the shots at my league there.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate that I'm not in charge of how it is set up, nor do I think any of my input would be taken at any point in time. So I don't bother. But I know it's not well set up, which I'll illustrate once.
Nope. I lost the back half of him there, or did I lose myself?
Did I get cut out?
You'll illustrate
no idea.
once.
Or Michael did. Oh, I said once you're done with your story, you could illustrate it, but it's fine. I'll illustrate it now. I, according to this app, had a 15% chance of making the playoffs.
That's a low number, I would say.
According to the app.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I took a picture of it. I took a picture to try and remember how this story goes. There were 8 teams still viable for getting into the playoffs. 8.
Okay.
That's
every single one of them was above.
League.
Every single one of them was above me. The top 2 teams were playing each other, and so therefore basically couldn't get knocked out. Their points for and all that sort of stuff, it wouldn't have mattered. So there were 2 open spots to get in for 6 teams. One of the teams above me won. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the teams above me lost. So the guy I was playing against, I had to beat by 75 points in order to have more points for and make the playoffs if every team above me lost except for one.
Okay.
I beat him by 80.
What happened. Well played, sir.
So we're in the 14 playoff somehow from 8th place.
Dang, dude. That's like legit.
Stealing other
Well, Joe
people's
Burrow
lunches.
decided to show up. JSN decided to show up. Watson, I finally played off the bench correctly.
I could feel in my league, so top 6, right? 2 buys for teams 1 and 2. I was in contention for the second buy, but I was playing a guy who was win and in, and my team had been kind of on a downward slope, which is not ideal for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, Jahmyr Gibbs went crazy, so that gave me a big boost.
Yeah, thank goodness for that.
But I was down going into the game last night, and my opponent had Jalen Hurts.
You're welcome.
Sure was. I could feel a bunch of people in my league, in the group chat in there were like, especially because the 2 teams below me, because like if I lost, I was probably going to go from the 2 seed to like the 4 or the 5 seed because my points for were pretty low, and 3 and 4 were playing each other. So like there was a pretty good chance I was going to drop pretty far if I lost, and so I could feel a lot of people rooting against me. And then whatever that play was in the Monday night game where Jalen Hurts lost 4 points on one play, the entire chat was like,
"Oh my God, he set
Dude.
NFL history.
2 turnovers on a
He's
single
the
play.
first player ever. No, he's the first player ever to throw a pick and commit a fumble in the same offensive play."
Just unbelievable stuff. Everyone in the chat was like, "Did JJ pay them off? This is unbelievable." And I was like, "It's all skill." It's like, what can I do? I got super lucky, right? So as a result, I have the bye this week and don't have to play. Thank God, because all my players are playing horrible teams this week. So it is a great week to take off. But if you guys didn't have anything else, I do want some help. Because while I don't have to play week 15, I will be playing someone week 16. My quarterback at this point is probably going to be Jacoby Brissett, unless someone tells me there's a better reason to play Jackson Dart.
No, I wouldn't play Jackson
Ooh.
Dart over Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, because the Giants have nothing to play for, right? Although not really either does Arizona, but Brissett at least is like trying to keep the job.
Yep. So let's see. What are the matchups? So Brissett has Houston this week and then Atlanta next week.
Houston is very bad. They have a really good defense.
But you're not playing him during the Houston week.
Exactly. This is why this is great for me.
Right. So let's look at Dart. Dart, on the other hand, he has Minnesota next week, which is not a great
matchup.
Not a great matchup for him. So it sounds like Brissett might be the choice.
So then, almost certainly, I still have Jaden Daniels on my roster, but there's no chance we're playing him, right? There's like a decent shot he never plays again this season or ever, potentially, I guess. I don't know if he's still hurt. But so I got to drop someone because I need to roster another defense. I have the Seattle defense who's been doing very good. But on week 16, they play against the Rams.
Division game.
Could be low scoring, but
so it could be low scoring. But do you roll the dice on that?
Yeah, because week 17, the Seahawks play against Carolina, unfortunately, Michael. And that's a defense game I probably want to have.
Yeah.
So I need a different defense for week 17.
Can you pick up whoever's playing the Colts?
No, I checked.
Because that's the play.
But I think I can get the Saints, who are playing Tennessee. I looked this up. Hold on, sorry. Doing it live, folks. Yeah, who are the Saints playing? The Saints are playing the Jets. That feels all right. Low scoring situation there, probably.
Yep, it feels like it.
But I got to figure out who I can drop. So here's my current bench. Dart, who we've agreed is probably not going to be played. Bam Knight, Chris Godwin, Marvin Harrison Jr., who hasn't played in several weeks, and Jaden Daniels. So I guess it's Daniels that gets dropped here.
I think that's the safe play.
How's Bam Knight doing? Because Bucky Irving's back.
Bam Knight is on Arizona.
Oh, I thought he was on Tampa Bay. Sorry.
But it's still a good question to ask because he has not been doing very good. He had a string of like 10-point games there from like weeks 11 to 14 or 13. And then week 14, they were playing the Rams and he only got 4 with 7 carries, which is a low number. So maybe Knight is the guy that goes because like I can't see myself ever starting this guy.
Yeah, but do you need to hold him off of other people's rosters?
That is the question. And like if one of my running backs gets hurt, he would be my only RB sub, right?
Yeah, you don't want to leave
you need
yourself
to hold
without
on to him
anyone
then.
to go to.
So I guess it is Daniels then. It's going to feel really bad if Daniels gets like 30 points next week, but he got 2.5 before he hurt himself last time, so. Commanders played
Is he going
Dallas
to play
in like
again?
week 17 too. I don't know. They won't rule him out because otherwise I would stick him in the IR slot and this wouldn't be a question.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, I hate them so much. I hate them for this, and I also hate Marvin Harrison for the same reason. The dude had his appendix out, and the team's like, well, maybe he'll play this week. Bro, you have to cut yourself open. You're not playing with that? Like, just rule him out on Monday. What are you people doing? Very frustrating. But I guess it does have to be Daniels, right? Like, I don't know who else here. I mean, I guess the other option is Harrison, right? If we think he's not coming back or not going to be any good.
I think those are your two choices.
Yeah, because I have another wide receiver too, right? So like, it wouldn't be that awful if I drop him. Tough decisions.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm looking at, and I think I'm set on this, but do I pull Joe Burrow off the bench and start him over Brissett?
Dang. How did Burrow do last week?
So Burrow last week had 25 points against Buffalo, at Buffalo. And he's got Baltimore, who has a softer pass defense this week. But it's also division.
Yeah.
So it's Burrow at home against Baltimore or Brissett on the road at Houston.
I would probably take Burrow. Houston's defense is so good, dude. I just think Brissett is going to be on the ground the whole game.
Yeah.
I don't have a choice, but I thank God I'm not playing this week. But like, if I had to, I would be really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the play. I was pretty set on it. So yeah, I'm going to go with it. Burrow's put up, in his first 2 games back, he's put up decent numbers. So hoping that continues.
I think they got nothing else, right? So like, it makes sense they got to go for it this way.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think one quick other bit of NFL news, which I just can't not mention.
Marmalade.
How is this happening? Phillip Rivers is older than us. We're old.
I heard someone say he has 10 kids at home and they're all homeschooled. This is just him wanting to get out of the house.
One of his kids is in high school.
Last time, I think, too.
I think that's always been the joke on him, right? He just has a huge family.
Yeah.
But like, I think one of his kids is in high school. Like, that is like,
wow,
serious, you know? I am.
He was going to pull a LeBron James and try and play until his son gets on the team.
Until he could play with his kid.
Good old Phillip and Bronny Rivers. I just can't believe they're considering this. There have to be better qualified people than him, right? Like, what's Colin Kaepernick doing? I'm sure he's in better shape. Like, I don't know, man. Who was a horrible bust quarterback that got like drummed out of the league after 1 year? That guy's probably better than Phillip Rivers at this point.
Has Derek Carr healed up enough yet? I mean, he would be better than Phillip.
Oh yeah. Like, and Derek Carr also believes in God the same way Rivers does. So that's probably like a good, team culture fit right there.
Yeah, it's gonna be something.
Yeah. Well, if people want to hear more about that, stay tuned, I guess. I can't believe they're doing it. Hopefully it's only a practice squad situation. He does not play, because that is just, look, the Joe Flacco thing was funny, but it was sad. He was not good. He's older than Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is old, right? Ay. Michael, if people want to get at us with more important football news, where can they send it?
You can send that to podcast@weweregamers.com. Give us advice on who we should start sit in the playoffs.
Yeah, but you better send it real fast, because you only got like a week.
Yeah, get that in quick.
Check us out on YouTube. We're at youtube.com/@weweregamers. Find us on there. And we're on social media too. Check us out on there.
Just going to throw out there that Shadur Sanders got 33 points last week.
Yeah, are any of the Browns quarterbacks on waivers? They just grab the third or fourth guy that they didn't use?